What do you think of this movie, Adam?
Um,
You're going into it blind. You don't really know anything about it, right?
yeah. It was interesting. I feel like,
Just lay it all out. Lay it all out because you're the guy. An adult who's never seen this movie before.
yes.
This is a movie I used to watch a lot as a kid on cable TV.
Yeah, this is it's kind of a movie for kids, because what kind of a grown up is going to want to watch like a little kid doing, badass shit and stuff. But it's also movie, made by a pedophile, you think?
I mean, I had a feeling you were going to say that, but
It's very strong pedophile vibes.
I'm giving you free airtime to say whatever you want. I'm not interrupting you.
I thought we were going to have you start it off by explaining what the movie is and stuff.
But let's just have your opinion first. Like, you warm up. You tell the audience what you think the movie. Tell us the vibe of the movie.
This movie's about like a kid who's like a badass, but he also gets like.
What's the name of the movie?
It's called Motorama. So he's a badass kid who's like on a road trip by himself. He's got like little like pedal contraptions so he can drive a car, and he's a badass kid. Every adult treats him like.
You got to tell the vibe of the movie. What's the vibe of this movie? What kind of genre is this movie?
It's kind of like a scuzz movie, I feel like.
And like, who's the audience? An empty cardboard box fell on Adam.
Just like flashing on my head. The audience.
Like what other movies is this like? It's like what meets what? What's the first movie that pops into your head?
What it reminded me of is a movie we've also done, Dial Santa Claus, because that's also a movie that feels like it's
Dial Code Santa Claus. Yeah, that's a very
and for pedophiles too.
Well, it's like an R-rated movie, a genre film.
Yeah,
and the lead character is a tough child, a precocious child who is in this movie driving a car, in that movie using weapons, fighting Santa Claus, and also it's like
an ultimate badass kid thing to do is fight Santa Claus. It's
like a subversive kids film.
Yeah, well, but it's not for a kid. He's saying fuck and shit. Like,
I know, but
it has like a weird funhouse mirror-y quality about like grown-ups and stuff. And so it is kind of, this is what I'm saying. Like, this is the cinema of pedophiles.
No,
this is the kind of shit they like.
This is not a movie for pedophiles. This is not a sexual film.
No, it's not. But of course,
okay,
they're not
going to
take over.
I'm taking over because
wait, no,
I don't like your. This is a movie for pedophiles. Why? Okay,
yeah,
I'll give
let me
you
talk
one chance.
About it.
Why is it a movie for pedophiles? Because I completely disagree, and no one else has that view. So you're kind of
no way.
Like give a real.
There's a weird quality about it where like all the grown-ups are getting really into like the kid's face and treating the kid like an adult is kind of like a pedophile thing to do, I think. Like in a movie where you're like, I'm gonna make a movie that's not like, I'm not gonna make like child porn. I'm gonna make a real movie that's for pedophiles so they can go out and see something on a Friday night.
Okay. Now let me ask you a question. So for me, the most obvious connection to this movie is Home Alone, which is very similar to Dial Code Santa Claus. Obviously, they almost have the exact same plot. But Home Alone, I feel like this movie,
precocious kid movies.
It's like it got made because of Home Alone. But the other thing it feels like is Erie, Indiana, and Pete and Pete. And there was this weird thing at the time in the early 90s where maybe it's because of Twin Peaks, but there were like several surreal television shows about kids and kind of for kids made by like LA hipster guys who were trying to make something. They were trying to make like artsy kids movies, and except for Pete and Pete, they were
Gen X shit.
Yeah, it's very Gen X, and they all kind of failed. And there's this weird thing with Gen X about like it kind of felt like this is what a college kid would write. It's like a movie about it's literally a movie about a 10-year-old child on a road trip, encountering like wacky characters, scene after scene. And his only real motivation is he's playing a game at all the gas stations he goes to called Motorama. And then in the game,
you get stickers.
You collect stickers, you peel them. It's kind of like the McDonald's Monopoly game.
Dude, I think it preceded that actually.
The McDonald's Monopoly game, I think it goes back all the way to the 80s.
Let me check.
But it's, cereal used to do things like this, We don't really do these contests anymore. But it's like a very Gen X feeling movie. He's collecting the stickers, and then every scene he encounters a weird person or actor, and there's so many celebrities. It's very similar to the Doom generation that way. But like, who's in this movie? Susan Terrell.
Who's that?
Yeah, she's in she in Fat City. She's in Crybaby.
That lady.
She has like a unique face. And then we have Jack Nance is in it, Eraserhead.
Jack Klompus on Seinfeld. That's who Jack Nance is. He punches the kid in the face.
That's not Jack Nance. Jack Nance is the hotel owner who is killing squirrels.
Oh, that guy's gave me strong pedophile vibes.
Okay.
Saying.
Dick Miller is in it from Gremlins, the old man from Gremlins, the neighbor guy who's like, he has the best scene in the movie. The horseshoe scene.
Occupation. Dick Miller. Is Miller a thing?
I wish we're too bad we're not smart. Like what you make grain.
Do the dick.
You make grain. It's like a big French guy in a cooking apron, like baking dicks and then
grinding them or something. Something about grinding. Yeah. So
hold on. Flea's in it.
Oh yeah, forgot about the flea. The flea star.
Drew Barrymore, early Drew Barrymore. One IMDb user was like, "This is a pre-breast reduction Drew Barrymore," so make sure you check out for that. Like, she was big on the
IMDb
trailer,
bringing the important information.
Every
isn't
review
she also underage in this movie though?
I don't know. So then
she's not 15 or 16.
Nah,
no
way.
It's just the pedophiles mentally fucking with you. It's like you're trying to. It's getting you all confused and tangled. Like it's making you be like, what? Like,
don't forget The Good Son. Remember the Good Son came out at the time. There was this thing with
that's another movie we did.
Bad kids, 10-year-old kids who are bad. Macaulay Culkin obviously is the
problem child.
There's all these weird movies about bad kids, which you do not see at all anymore.
Yeah, I was also thinking about that, something that this movie, I don't know if it's a universal thing, but when I was growing up, I remember every adult being pretty mean and kind of treating you like shit.
Yes.
I don't know if that's a boomer parent thing or whatever, but I feel like, because, they all have lead poisoning and shit. I feel like when I was growing up, every adult was mean and kind of scary and did not want to deal with your little kid shit, So that's something this movie does get right. But,
it does feel old fashioned though.
Yeah.
Just like Problem Child. There's this weird 70s thing. And I think it's because Disney didn't have a lock on child's entertainment.
Yeah.
There weren't these obvious corporate streams of just Nickelodeon, Disney, these apps where you can just funnel children's entertainment. Back then it was kind of they would make exploitation movies essentially for children. Or they would slip into the cracks. Ren and Stimpy has similar vibes. That old man, George Liquor, he could be a character in this. It's lots of guys in bowling shirts with bad wigs or
being,
Meatloaf.
Being gross and shit and getting really up in the camera. And
it's he goes to a motel or a restaurant and there's always a nasty person in the scene who's mean to him.
Yeah. It used to be funny, and people used to think it was just fun and funny and cool to be just treat a kid like shit. Now people get mad at you. So
you can't condone that publicly.
Yeah,
you get shamed.
In private, you can enjoy yourself. Finally.
So let's talk about this kid. He's kind of, he's not a great actor. I wish I could say he was. He's got a great look. Perfect.
It kind of hurts a lot of the movie though, I think, because, you know, he's kind of like you have to be really believable if you're going to be like precocious and like.
They shouldn't have had a cute kid. They should have got an ugly, weird kid.
Yeah.
Like if a kid was weird looking, it would give him some weird edge. Like, did you ever see Out of the Blue, that Dennis Hopper movie?
No.
So the girl from Days of Heaven and like Gummo, Linda Manns is in it. And she's like, you know, a really weird kid who talks like this and is very precocious and adult.
Yeah.
Kind of like, or like Jodie Foster was another great kid actor. It's like they would try weirder kids in the 70s. This kid just has like, he looks like a commercial actor.
He looks like a kid who's getting molested, like to be in the industry and stuff. Pretty sure
that was big at the time.
Oh yeah.
Remember Jonathan Brandis?
Yeah.
I mean, he killed himself. Like, why? Like, if he killed himself, and then like the way Corey Feldman talks about it, he says it's pretty common. You know, that's how you break into the biz. There's like guys who just kind of go to like malls and they go like, hey, you should be in movies. How about you come over and take pictures?
Yeah. Good stuff.
You just get hot. It's just like literally like the porn industry.
Yeah. Damn. But they also like dress this kid up in like little kid you know, it's like they did.
He has like a Dennis the Menace outfit. He's got a baseball hat,
a cartoon kid outfit,
red cap, gray sweater.
Yeah. But yeah, there's also like shots of like, there's multiple shots of little kids peeing in like the bushes.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Don't forget, you know who was big at the time, Adam? We forget. Bart Simpson. This is the era of Bart Simpson. He does have he has a Bart Simpson style demeanor. And then the other thing is,
if Bart Simpson was like a pedophile's dream.
Huge movie trivia coming up right here. The name Bart for the boy, that was from the 1950s movie that Dr. Seuss made about the kid who goes to like the wacky world. What the fuck that shit's called? I cannot remember. I can't remember for the life of me.
Really built this up.
I know. Anyway, he's based on that. There's a kid named Bart in that. And then another movie called Day of the Locust, there's a guy named Homer Simpson. So, you know, where a little kid is murdered by an insane autistic man played by Donald Sutherland. So like when Bart is getting strangled, I think that's a reference to Day of the Locust.
Oh, interesting. Well, but I also read Matt Groening's family. Those are all like the other people's names in his family. His dad's name is Homer.
But Homer Simpson, that's a double.
Oh, yeah.
But I guess his father is named Homer Simpson also. So, or Homer Groening.
His dad was named after the character.
But let's get back to the movie. So,
yeah, going from one pedophile to another.
That's what a meeting is in Hollywood.
Transaction between two pedophiles. A really intense negotiation between two pedophiles. Got a lot writing on it. But yeah, so he's wearing colorful kid clothes. He's peeing, and there's a shot of him peeing in the bushes, and the camera's like doing something that I think you would only do with a camera if you were a pedophile. Kind of like trying to film a little kid.
But he's just a kid peeing. This is
but the camera is not the camera is the pedophile, I think. It's the camera's like slowly moving in on him. And if you were not a pedophile, I think your instincts would be to maybe just like let the camera sit.
What you're saying is the distance. There's a voyeuristic atmosphere to the scene.
Yes.
Which there is. And then doesn't someone sneak up on him?
No, I don't think so. No,
well, he's later snuck up upon when he's siphoning gas from this gross couple.
Jack
and this
Klompus.
Is from Seinfeld. Who was he in Seinfeld? I don't really. He looked familiar.
Jack Klompus from Seinfeld. He's take the pen, Jerry. Take the pen. And he's like, I don't want it.
And he knows like his Uncle Leo or some shit.
He lives in the same complex as Jerry's parents in And Boca. He lives in Del Boca Vista.
He's a striking man.
Oh yes, quite striking. And you know there's another old striking man, Jewish man in this movie at the end, who's Larry David's dad in Curb. He's the guy in the wig at the end, guy in the toupee or
whatever. Who won at Big in Vegas.
Yes, exactly.
So when that kid, let's go back to him siphoning gas, because this is one of the best scenes in the movie. He's siphoning gas. He's stealing from this couple. And, you know, I used to watch this movie as a kid. It would be on at 4 p.m. So at like 4 p.m., this is like the coolest movie on Showtime or HBO or whatever, like Cinemax. And like,
think about how pumped the pedophiles were too. They're like, oh my God, they're playing this in the daytime.
And back then I would watch like little scenes here and there and never the full movie. So I would see it kind of like out of order before I finally watched the whole thing.
Right.
It's like all the reviews for it were really low, and it would always say like 1 star Motorama, or like horrible movie about kids, just garbage. A movie no one should ever concern them about, just awful. But
those are just pedophiles trying to throw people off their scent.
Well, it was like dumped on cable.
They're like protesting a little much.
I can't find a review, like an interview with the director or anyone talking about it. There's like no, it's just a movie that got made, and it's so hard to find any information about it. But
is it a TV movie? Because it's like full screen, right?
I guess it's made for TV. It's very weird.
It made $10,000. I thought I was going to say 10 million. So I got like, but 10,000 sounds about right.
In this scene, this kid is snuck up upon, and this couple catches him, and the Jack Klumpus guy punches him in the face with his ring and rips open his eye, and his eye's all swollen and bloody. And then a doctor visits them, and the wife is played by Mary Woronov, who's in all those like Paul Bartel movies. And then the doctor's played by Vince Edwards. And then the doctor's examining him. He's like, well, you know, maybe I could save the eye if I do surgery tonight. And then Jack Klumpus guy's like, well, it's our choice, right? Well, you know, loss builds character. And then he like loses his eye. But before that, as he's passing out, you see the two gross adult people are covering his mouth with the lipstick. And then when he wakes up in the morning, he just has lipstick all over his face.
Oh
just
my
like,
God.
Just like all of his mouth is just like lipstick spread everywhere.
This is so gross. This movie is...
And his eye is just bleeding out so much. And like...
That's the point of that part. I thought...
These shocking tonal changes. See, here's what this movie is, okay? This writer wrote After Hours and Vampire's Kiss. Like, After Hours is that Scorsese movie.
Right.
Vampire's Kiss is that insane Nicolas Cage movie where all the memes come from. It's like his most over-the-top acting he ever did.
Doing Nosferatu shit.
Yes. And
in
then,
like yuppie 80s New York.
This writer probably wrote this movie in like 3 days and just was like, no one will ever make this. But it's like, the director of this movie was a producer on Vampire's Kiss. So he probably talked to producer and to be like, oh yeah, this is like the next Home Alone. We should make this. And that producer guy directed it. So it's not very well directed, but the writing is so subversive. And that this little kid woke up and now the lipstick's all over his face. His eyes bleeding out. He was crying. He like wanders out of the hotel room and finds like a big tire filled with dirty water, and then he begins to wash out his mouth with the dirty water. And it's just like, it's so, when I was a little kid watching it, I was, I was just feeling everything he was going through so much.
Right.
And when that happened, it just made me like sick. Like I couldn't believe, like imagining like a child going through all that. And then the next scene, he gets roped into a bar game with Meatloaf, and Meatloaf just starts beating him in arm wrestling, and the kid's trying to hide from him to
arm wrestle to bet or whatever, and then he's like, stop, I don't want to.
And a cop's there. He's trying to hide from the cop, Robert Picardo, another great, cool actor of that era from Inner Space. But he's probably on Star Trek, TNG, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. Bald guy.
But then he loses like a bunch of money betting, and then he says like, no, I'm looking for these 4 Motorama cards. And then they go like, oh, we can get you those letters. And then they tattoo his arm.
They just take him to force, strap him down and then tattoo his arm, like give him a sleeve almost.
But it's not directed with the atmosphere is so weak. I mean, it's there. It's just the bare minimum. It kind of feels like a TV movie or like a TV show pilot or something. Like it's not very cinematic. And the music feels very just half-assed.
But there's like montages in this movie that are good though.
Yes, there's like a lot of
the scenes are all weird.
All the ideas are very good. It's just not put together with any flair. I mean,
you got to think about it as if you were a guy who just loves fucking naked kids and being a pedophile. There's no naked children
in this movie.
Yeah, but you can imagine it gives you a lot of. Also, that's
here's okay. Adam,
something that fucks me up in this movie is that the kid has like a big butt and he's wearing like tight jeans.
Okay, you're a pedophile. You are a pedophile.
I couldn't stop.
You keep
I'm thinking about this being like, hey, this is like a movie. It feels like very pedophile-y. I'm picking up on some vibes here. And then it's a lot of shots of the kid walking away from the camera, and he's wearing these tight jeans, and he has this big, like juicy, like little kid butt.
But who else could make a better children's film than a person who absolutely loves children and adores them?
It's an interesting theory, William.
Who else is willing to cross the boundaries?
Yeah,
and do the things, to treat them like an adult.
Yeah.
Who respects children more than the pedophile?
They believe that they are able to consent, and that's a huge sign of respect that they're giving the kid.
Yes. It's
so this is a pedophile movie number 2 of this podcast. The first one was Dial Code Santa Claus. It's got a sweaty shirtless kid in a lot of it and stuff. Oh, and also there's that scene in this movie where he's sitting at the road. I think this is after he gets tattooed. He starts like peeling a bunch of them, and then like this young like biker couple's like, hey, can we go fuck in your car or whatever,
or have a quickie?
Yeah, and he doesn't pay. He doesn't like answer them because he's like obsessed with the Motorama. So they go in his car and fuck. And then the movie cuts back and forth between
him winning a
the
ticket,
woman achieving orgasm, and the kid,
and the ticket being
getting
the
a
level,
ticket, getting a T or something like that, because the T is like not common.
So you know what this scene is? I feel like this is. I bet in the first draft for this movie, he fucked the girl in the back of the car. That would be my guess. And then someone was like, no, you're not doing this. Or like,
okay.
So this is because what he's experiencing is adulthood through these experiences. Because that would be his virginity taking scene, or like, losing the eye scene is like his war story, or like getting tattooed. It is like,
yeah, I guess you could look at it like that.
Because by the end of the film, he has gray hair and a beard, and he's an adult. He's an old man, and like
interesting, William.
And it's
you really know how to analyze this movie.
Well, yeah,
this movie in particular.
Well, I've seen it dozens of times,
right?
But I like the movie as a child.
Sure.
As a child, this was one of my favorite movies. I mean, like Pee-wee's Big Adventure. There were all these like crazy fun road movies at the time.
Movies are good for a kid, I think. Like they really hit the spot when you're a kid because you want freedom.
The Wizard.
Yeah, you want to hit the road and like can't. So that's where all your like dreams take you as a kid.
Well, because here's the thing.
Strong appeal.
Life is the road.
And if you're a pedophile, you're like, I gotta get on the road. Like the police are closing in.
You live on the road.
Yeah, exactly.
You're constantly moving, constantly touring.
I love the open road.
You're working with Sega, you're making video games, but next thing you know, you're filming a Pepsi commercial and your hair's on fire.
Yeah. Wait, who's that?
You're making huge music videos, touring the world, but sometimes you like to chill out down in Santa Barbara, in your own amusement park that you have built for yourself, your own palace and amusement park.
Nice.
I bet he liked this movie. I bet he loved this movie.
Of course.
He's
Let's
like, guys,
that to love. Right
you
away.
got this. I wouldn't be surprised if Michael Jackson secretly paid for this movie just so he could have his own movie to show children on a first date.
This is honestly a perfect first date movie for Michael Jackson.
Didn't he like Home Alone? Well, yeah, he hung
I feel
out
like this
Macaulay,
one's better because it's like, see, you're a big kid. Like, yeah, maybe that's like gets too like close to home or whatever. But this movie's like, oh yeah, you're a big kid. See, like, you know, you can do
put
crazy
a little lipstick
things.
on
like,
you.
Yeah, put a little lipstick on you. Wear these.
Let me
jeans.
give you a tattoo.
Yeah.
Let's play this game.
This kid's wearing like one of those Beta butt jeans. I feel like in this movie, I can't believe that's not a thing that.
Well, don't forget, like most costume designers are women, and they're just like, these are the hot jeans. He looks so cute.
Yeah. But if the pedophile director or producer is like laying them out, being like, hey, she picks them up, she gets an idea.
There's the double standard for women is they can talk about boys, young boys, in a way that no one gives them any grief.
Yeah, he's got a really sweet looking ass in those jeans, and that everybody's like, that's fine. It's a cute thing to say.
Yeah. Just like, oh yeah. Starts snapping in agreement.
Yeah. Starts drooling and sweating.
Tapping your leg, looking at the floor.
Yeah, nobody ever talks about the female
trying
pedophiles.
To look away, giggling.
They're not they don't get enough representation compared to the guys.
They're not seen as threatening.
Yeah.
Because they can't, they don't leave as much physical damage, so to speak.
Oh God, dude. I was like, how are you going to say this? And you said it in like a worse way than it's like you said it in a very vague way that was also awful to imagine. Nice work.
But anyway, he would have loved this movie. I hope he saw it. I bet he did. He was a big TV guy, big movie guy. So, but I was a kid. I just watched it as a kid. Did we talk about the Dick Miller scene? This is the greatest scene. This scene as a kid was just it was like, I didn't know a movie could do this.
Who is this again?
So Dick Miller the kid wants to play him a game of horseshoes, and he basically cheats him. And this is like I guess he's good at horseshoes because he just like gets like 8 horseshoes in a row, no problem.
Mm-hmm. To a dad that's camping with his family.
Yes. And then the dad says, I can't afford this. I can't pay you $100. I got 2 kids. And the kid's like, whatever, man. He takes his money and walks away. And then you see the dad go, but wait a minute. And then he like runs to his wife and tells her something. And then he grabs his 2 kids, takes them out. He's like, you want to go to the bathroom? You want to go pee? Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he just takes them out to the woods. And then the little kid's peeing. And then the dad runs away. The guy from Gremlins.
With the mom, the dad and the mom get in their car and drive off.
So that $100 bill, I mean, they were writing it tight financially, that family.
Yeah.
$100, the kids are gone. And then there's a shot of the 2 kids looking sad.
Yeah, holding each other's hands because they're like, they're not ready for the open road.
They don't know what's going on, literally and on set when they're being filmed.
Yes.
These kids look very confused. It's perfect.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to the kid driving. He's like, yeah. He's got like it's like he's been scammed. He's been fucked over. Now he's fucking over other people. And he understands like the rules of the world now. He's making money.
I see. Yeah, you really got this movie figured out, dude.
Well, yeah, it's a basic story.
Of course.
Let's say, I mean, it's a children's book.
Yes.
It's a baby book. It's a baby movie, but hey,
it's a baby. It's a movie for bad babies.
And it's a movie for me. Let's be honest.
Yeah. You were a bad baby.
I was a bad baby. I would scream and cry literally all night and never sleep. And my parents, and they would have to, every night I would just scream all night long, just nonstop.
No way.
And then they would take me out to the living room and they would play cable TV and I would just watch movies all night. eventually they just left me out there every night to watch TV. And
Is that
that's
true?
yes.
That's cool. That's a sweet story for this. And now you're here talking about this pedophile movie. Reminiscing about it, actually.
It's a great life.
Yeah. Now you are a pedophile.
So yeah, he eventually wins the game and he gets the last ticket from what? A guy with Down syndrome?
Yeah, he's got something.
He can't speak, he mutters around, he jumps around, he claps.
Yeah.
The kid gets one last card and it's the R. And he wins Motorama.
Which I was excited. Honestly, at that point, this movie does a good job of you getting into it. I wanted him to win. I wanted him to get the prize.
Yeah, it's a very simple thing in movies. If you just make it explicit what a character wants and show them on the journey to get that thing.
Well, also like you
will watch anything as long as
wants it so bad. He's dauntlessly pursuing this thing. He's getting tattooed. He's getting fucking raped or whatever.
He has gray hair now. He has a beard.
Yeah, but he's chasing
5 o'clock
this thing.
shadow. He crashed his car.
The Drew Barrymore scene is like him being like, "Oh, that's what's going to happen he's just trying to get like older pussy."
He wants money, fame.
Yeah, he wants to be on a beach with like a underage.
He wants the American dream, and
it's the pedophile's dream. Really,
he plays the game. So that's a normal dude's dream, though, Adam. Come on.
But like
Drew Barrymore on an island.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. That's true. But yeah, this movie, I mean, that scene is like, it rides a line that for any reasonable adult watching this would maybe be like, this is making me feel strange.
This is Adam. He's watching this movie. He's getting like chubbed up. And then he's like, does everyone else like hate this movie? This movie is bad.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm not getting chubbed up.
You're just throbbing. Your pants are like getting like a mountain, getting like a tent.
Yeah. My jeans are getting tight, like the kids' jeans. The front is getting tighter, so my butt is getting more and more cups.
No, this is a good movie.
Yeah.
This is a fun movie. Come on, just keep watching.
I mean, I don't know. They have tricks. They use trickery and kind of deception to confuse normal people and to get them to be like, wait, I guess this kid is an adult. I guess it is okay. That's what the movie's trying to do is what I'm saying.
Well, he's at the end, though, the movie doesn't do that, because when he tries to collect the prize, a $500 million prize, he is told he's only eligible for the prize. And then when he confronts a person at the company in this like big faceless corporation, he's just told there's no prize or this or that. And then eventually he's just picked up and thrown out a window. And as he falls,
that was awesome.
His shirt sleeves comes back, his eye gets fixed, and he lands in a river. And then there's a shot like out of a Tarkovsky movie of just like debris and water and like shallow water, and the camera pans over, which is really pretentious for a movie like this to even try to do that. But it's actually a nice shot. It's a nice bit of atmosphere. And then it returns to the beginning of the film, and he goes back to this gas station he was at earlier, where he had a very long and boring scene between an uptight gas attendant and a police officer. I found that scene to be so long and boring in the beginning of the movie.
Oh yeah. But, I mean, that's just adults fucking acting weird around this kid.
Like the violence was there, when the threat of being in trouble, the movie picks up.
Agreed.
It just like kind of does like, oh, everything you saw never happened. We returned to the beginning, kind of like cop out ending. And it's
what
really
you think happened didn't happen. You didn't get molested. You
threw the crutch.
You went on a fun adventure. Don't worry about the lipstick that is smeared all over your face. See what I'm saying?
He is an adult. You went through an experience like that.
It's
just
true.
like him. You were kissed.
But I was 30.
Yeah, but that's the metaphor.
Yeah, that's when I finally grew up.
So
you don't grow up until you get molested. A lot. Right?
So and that happened at 30 for you?
I started getting molested in my 20s, and then
a couple of dry spells.
Yeah. I got fat for a little bit. Nobody wanted to molest me.
That has to be the worst pain.
That was pretty hard to deal with. But it motivated me to get my shit together, get in shape. And now I have like principles and habits that will allow me to get molested for many years to come. Okay. When was the last time you got molested?
I molested myself last night.
Oh. Yeah, I guess you can do that too. It's also.
So what's your rating? What do you give this movie?
This is one of those movies that is incredibly bad in parts and weird, but also I think it has some really good qualities to it. And some of the sequences are really good. Like a lot of the montages I was saying are like, they work really well and stuff.
Yeah. He goes to like weird states and they're like, it's surreal.
Yeah. They're weird. They're not like Texas is named something else. Then he goes to California at the end and it's named something else.
Remember he went through the tunnel for Essex and there's just like a surreal scene of like KKK men, like hanging someone. And a guy like shooting the Pope.
Yeah. So it's got weird shit like that. You got to appreciate that.
But it's just like a bunch of cheap costumes,
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like, and there's like nothing happens afterwards where you're like, oh, that really affected him. But
sure.
It's just part of the aging thing. It's like through life, you're unaware of all these horrible events that are happening in the world. But as an adult, you just see.
Damn, dude. You're fucking reading this pedophile movie so good. You're nailing this movie.
Just what we all go through.
Yeah, true. Watching the Pope get shot, growing up. Fucking nuts, dude. Life. That's life.
And it's cool. This movie back then could slip through the cracks and just sort of exist out there in the world of cable and VHS.
Yeah.
And a kid like me could come across it. Because who else is going to enjoy it?
Prevent that from get reaching children before they even get a chance.
Yeah, it's lame.
Be like a big social media campaign to cancel the movie or whatever.
But yeah, like it feels like this could be a French movie.
Yeah, that's Dial Code or Dial Santa Claus or whatever is French. That's French, right?
So what's your rating?
Yeah. I guess I'd give it a 3 because it works on it works really well in some parts. And I appreciate the, the fucking, like eye patch tattoo shit, like going for it and stuff. But the acting is so bad. And like the direction is so bad and weird. I had to bring it down like at least a star and a half for that. And then the pedophile thing, I got to drop it down at least a half star for the pedophile thing. Because
mean that's an extra star.
I can't condone that.
This is a 4-star movie in my book. You're not going to see a movie like this ever again.
Yeah, it's unique.
The screenplay is just awesome. I mean, this guy wrote 3 movies: After Hours, Vampire's Kiss, Motorama, and After Hours was this big deal movie because he wrote it at NYU. Scorsese directed it. It was like Scorsese's comeback. And it's a small movie, but it was like a big deal because they're like, wow, this NYU student wrote this screenplay. This is amazing. He's just right out the gate working in Hollywood with like one of the great directors. And then it turned out he like plagiarized the whole story from like an NPR article or something. I forget, like some article he read.
Nice.
And then that kind of like, derailed his career. And then he wrote Vampire's Kiss, and I don't remember what it was like when that movie came out or what people thought of it. That Nicolas Cage movie is just nuts. But
that's because of him, though.
Yeah, but it's a weird movie.
Sure.
And then it was like, I just mean more like it wasn't that successful. And then Motorama just kind of got dumped on TV or on video.
Yeah. I mean,
and then his career is basically not really anything after that.
I was thinking about like, TV. Is the writer a pedophile? Like, is this made by like a cabal of pedophiles, or just like one guy is the director? Does he bring in that touch to it, and like unintentionally even, but like, imagine if you were a writer and you wrote a script and it was awesome and stuff like that, and you realized that fucking director was like just making a movie for pedophiles to enjoy.
Well, I just want to say that I completely disagree that was any motivation on the filmmakers. I think I joked around and said Michael Jackson would have loved this movie, but that's probably true. I feel that there is something inherently cinematic about a child acting mature. And if you look back to the Little Rascals, they'd be smoking cigarettes and cigars. Or if you look at,
it's a good laugh.
Sullivan's Travels, or Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, has a similar thing with like a kid smoking, driving a car. It's just a very funny, it's like a vaudevillian.
Sure. Yeah, it's a classic
joke.
Sort of. Yeah.
And I don't think, I just think when you just drone about the same thing over and over again on these episodes, it's you did the same thing on Dial Code.
Well, I'll just bring it.
It's a very shallow analysis. It's a very shallow analysis. And then when you miss basic things about his obvious signs of maturity,
that's a second viewing sort of thing that you would pick up on, I think.
I think that's very telling of you.
I'm going to watch this movie again. This pedophile movie.
You have obsessions with pedophilia in movies like this. Not the movie, not anyone else. No one else I know who likes this movie even brings that up.
No, you have to bring it up. I'm not saying you can't like this movie. I gave it 3 stars, but like,
I'm just saying, I'm just doing it at my take. I'm just saying, when you're missing the big picture and you're focusing on a hallucination of your own creation.
No, it's not a hallucination.
And
this is not my own creation.
No one else I know who's seen this movie has ever said that, but
all your friends are pedophiles. Besides me.
You can defend yourself.
Got it.
After, but I'm just saying that's how I feel. I never felt that way.
Well, I was thinking like, because I looked it up. I was like, when are these fucking movies made or whatever? And they're made in like 1990 roughly. And like, maybe it's something about the style or like the kid actor industry or what it's like shot on or something. I don't know. Like, I feel like I'm looking through like the lens of, P word.
Okay. Well, you heard it from Adam. Something about the lens.
Or no, I'm saying I'm seeing I'm watching the story. Something about it is making it feel like it's made by a pedophile.
Are you saying it's the male gaze?
Yes, exactly. There's like male gaze put on these children. Very good, William. See?
I'm just asking you questions.
Okay. What do you mean?
So you say the director has shot them. Now, do you think the male gaze in this movie is intentional?
It's a question of like, is this guy like being like, okay, so I made some other movie, a regular movie, and now I'm going to make one for us, my community. Or is it like I just revealed that I'm a pedophile. Like when you're watching the first cut, it's hard to say. I wasn't there, but
is that a problem you find yourself with?
No, not at all.
Oh my God, I accidentally made I can't believe I accidentally made a pedophile movie. Oh my God, I'm so upset.
So stupid, idiot.
Oh,
why did I
well,
make this movie for pedophiles?
This cut is good anyway. I don't want to work on it anymore. Let's just release it.
Fucking kickstarted it, asked everyone I ever have known in my entire life for money.
I'll say this. The weakest thing about this movie is the directing, and the real key element of directing in a film is mastery of tone. Okay. The best directors just get the tone right in every scene.
Yes.
And this guy, whether it feels like he's not really involved in the editing, it kind of has that, like, you know, this movie is going through a system, like a cheap production house. It's just someone directs it, another group of people put it together, and they slap it on video and they just kick it out. Or it's Sony. I think it was a Sony movie, actually, a Columbia TriStar, or it was released through them. I don't know.
He should be on the Spider-Verse, this kid.
It doesn't really have a strong tone, so I don't really see strong intent behind much. Mostly, I find the writing to be the most interesting part. I would consider the writer to be the main creator of this film. So,
what about the person who was in charge of the little kid's jeans?
Like I said, I think that it could just be a costume designer, but being like, these jeans are cute.
Well, it's a costume designer, you know, finding the best jeans for working with the casting director who finds the kid with the biggest butt, you know, on the orders of the director.
Yeah. What about these jeans right here? Yeah. These are the good.
Oh, actually.
Oh, put these on, kid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Turn around. All right. Yeah. Okay.
Another possibility.
Rehearse? No, it's not rehearse.
No. Just keep spinning around in those jeans.
Get the camera out. Let me record. But yeah, that's good enough. First take, whatever.
But maybe that brings up another thing. Maybe the director hired a bunch of pedophiles by accident, and then is like, "Oh fuck, I have this whole crew conspiracy of pedophiles." Theory.
You're a flat earther. That's how, like,
people who acknowledge the existence of pedophiles aren't flat earthers, William. I'm sorry.
You have no evidence
in Hollywood. Yeah, there's no pedophiles in Hollywood in the night.
I'm just saying, with this movie
in the early 90s,
your analysis, I see through your analysis now. How you think things happen by accident? Like maybe it happened.
No,
by
I'm
accident.
Just bringing up questions. Maybe it's an intentionally made movie for pedophiles. You know, like they want to have their own cinema or whatever.
Perhaps it's in, but no one else.
Are they? Don't they have a? Do they have a right to it? I'm not saying. I'm asking. Do they have a right to have their own cinema? Of
course.
Okay. Finally, some real answers.
As long as they are not breaking the law while making the film.
Yeah, maybe it'll take the edge off. You know what I mean?
Here's the thing about art. You have to let criminals make art, because criminals make the best art.
Because they're
people who break the law
deranged
make the best art. And you might as well allow all of them, because
murderers.
Once you start making little rules.
No, I'm not saying that they can't make it. I'm just fucking saying, like, this movie's got it. It's it. They made one, and it's this. A general audience movie that appeals to.
I never noticed his jeans once while watching the movie. Shit. By the way, nothing Adam has said is anything that crossed my mind.
I was just thinking about the the only reason I noticed the jeans because I was thinking about the pedophile shit, and then like. While I was thinking about it, this fucking kid like walks into the frame and it's like an ass shot of him. So, you know, me bringing it up, you know, maybe prevents a child actor from wearing tight jeans that show off his big butt in the future.
It sounds like you got to put a burqa on that kid. God damn, I can't handle this kid. He walked by the camera, put a burqa on that boy.
I know.
Just making him walk around like that. Oh, hoity-toity.
Children should be in burqas in every. Otherwise, it's made by a pedophile. That's my opinion. But
you are a pedophile.
It's just somebody who works with a pedophile every week. You know,
Adam is a bigger
someone who's
pedophile.
Close with a pedophile collaborator. You know, yes. Do they deserve their own cinema? Absolutely. Do they deserve to host a podcast about cinema? Of course.
You know, you're trying to attack me after I attack you, but
no, I was talking about Ryan.
You are literally a pedophile.
No.
You told me.
No.
You whispered it.
And
I tell everyone I know.
That's come on.
It's something he said. I told the police they won't do anything. They said record him, get some evidence. So this was an entire show that the whole reason it existed was for me to admit, or for you to admit it on air.
Wait,
and I got the recording.
Little slip there.
I got the recording.
Fuck, why did I say that? Why did I bring up that kid's big butt and his tight jeans? I shouldn't have done that. Those are incriminating.
Happened by accident.
I know. You didn't even think. You showed me the perfect one. Showed me the perfect movie for a pedophile. To be like tricked.
This is a road movie. This is an existentialist road film.
Yeah.
It's a cool movie for kids out there. If you're an adult and you're looking for a cool movie to watch with a young kid, watch this movie. The parents would be so happy. If we got any like grown male babysitters, uncles.
Yeah.
This is for the uncles, this is an uncle, the kid movie.
You're going to want to turn away the nanny cam, throw this movie on and be like, check this out.
How old would you want your son to be until he watched this movie?
Oh boy. I guess like maybe I'd show it to him when he gets his driver's license for the first time, Be like, okay, now you're out of the window of this being, damaging to you. You can fight off most molesters. Check this out. This is what real life is. What about you?
I don't have a son.
Okay. But
I would show it to him at like 7 or 8.
Yeah. I think about this sometimes with you actually, because
6 years old.
Of how early you watched
8-year-olds
movies. Yeah. If you want to turn them into a pedophile, show them to it at 8.
There's no media that can turn anyone into a mass murderer, pedophile, serial killer. It's not true. That's a lie created by the gun industry.
Yeah. Grooming can't groom a kid to be anything really. Right, William?
Well, you can groom someone into being a victim. Sure. You can groom a victim, but you can't groom your own Manchurian candidate mass murderer through a movie or a video game.
But you were exposed to stuff at an early age is what I was saying. Like you're exposed. What's like the first crazy adult movie you saw when you were like 6 or whatever? Because your brother would show you shit, right?
I used to watch like Full Metal Jacket a lot when I was like 5 years old.
That doesn't line up at all. It doesn't explain.
And that movie made me feel so bad for Vincent D'Onofrio going through
getting the soap beating.
The soap beating was like so painful for me as a kid, and like so visceral. Bad,
honestly. Getting beat up with the soap,
crying and begging Matthew Modine not to hit him, and then Matthew Modine's like hits him like the first one's hard, and then he gets him like 3 more times, and then when he goes to sleep and then puts his hands over his ears.
Yeah. I don't think that had an effect on you for sure. You're totally normal.
I mean, it looks fun.
As
long as you're the person hitting
for like
the person,
abuse and shit.
It's totally fine.
Yeah, that's true.
As long as you're not the one.
Mind.
You don't want, if you're the guy, yeah, it sucks for the guy in the bed getting hit.
Everybody's thinking about the victim. Nobody's thinking about how much fun the bully's having.
Yes. And there's a lot of us bullies in that scene just running around having fun. Everybody. They all bully Private Pile.
Yeah.
RoboCop was another favorite as a child. I saw that in the movie theater. So I would have been 4 years old.
No.
I saw that. That was a good one.
No, you didn't. And no, you're kidding, right?
No, I saw that in the movie theater. And I used to love that movie as a kid. I love the Ed 209 scene. Him getting shot and killed and his hand blown off. That was awesome.
That's another bully where like guys are like refusing to have pity.
But I also like kids movies. I liked, An American Tail. I like the Adventures of Pippi Longstocking movie. I saw that in the movie theater a bunch.
That's sweet.
Bad kid.
Yeah.
I liked any movie about bad kids, Home Alone.
Yeah, that's thrilling when you're a kid, of course. But
Motorama.
I was obviously a very good boy, and so that maybe it was a different kind of thrill for me. Maybe for you, it was just like you're taking notes. Like, oh
Return of the Living Dead was a big movie when we were kids. Street Trash, obviously.
Right, you would rent that a lot. You're saying,
or Just Goes to Camp.
Oh yeah, my dad. We would rent stuff, and my dad would copy it onto blank VHSs. So I had that one. We watched that a lot.
What else? The Thing. We love The Thing.
When you're like,
but like,
just learning
Big Trouble in Little China was like way cooler as a kid, though. I love Big Trouble in Little China. Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Now it's like a little silly and shit.
Now I like The Thing more, but when you're a kid, Big Trouble in Little China was awesome. The Thing was just so awesome, though. That effects, all those like,
of course,
all that alien shit,
Yeah.
Venom style. So yeah, I say like
they should.
I watched those movies as a kid. I turned out fine, so I don't believe in totally censorship.
Fine. All checks out.
Censorship is pointless.
Yeah, let your kid watch whatever. They don't even know they want to watch it or anything. It's like you have to put it on for them. They're not being like, hey, can I watch Full Metal Jacket? You're like, hey, check this out.
We just watched it.
You have to take the initiative with your kid.
It was the 80s. It was just seen as like,
everyone had lead poisoning, and they were completely shitty to every kid.
My parents were young.
They were like
relatively young. Yeah, my dad might have had lead poisoning. He was a crazy character. He was high on cocaine the whole time, so that does change.
He was your dad.
Yeah, so that was like his big using years. So that's him, like.
But that's like a high-powered business guy cocaine, right?
Yeah, white collar.
Yeah, white collar.
Very cocaine. Michael Douglas kind of existence.
Yeah.
For a lot of very similar to Michael Douglas, like a very sweaty guy, 5 o'clock shadow, cigarettes, driving a Porsche, wearing like a suit with like a little belt. Those thin belts.
Oh yeah.
80s.
Oh yeah. Damn, a whole generation of white collar workers lost coke,
divorced,
and divorce. Yeah.
And just like
tough time.
Yeah, you can watch TV all night. Who cares?
Yeah.
You're just a pawn in the divorce.
Oh, that's a good idea.
That's going on at the time.
I gotta remember to use my kid as a pawn in my marriage issues and stuff. Keep forgetting. Keep trying to protect him.
Yeah, it seems counterintuitive.
Yeah. Just throw on the most violent movie I can think of and just leave the room. And then when I need to, frame my wife for child abuse, I come out and take a video and like, look what my wife put on. Can you believe it? Something like that. I don't know. I'm still working on it, but
can you believe he didn't get custody of the children in the divorce?
That's crazy.
He didn't get. My mom ended up getting full custody and then supervised visitation.
Just probably a feminist judge.
Would you want to supervise
one of these liberal judges?
Would you want a supervised visit with your child?
Yeah.
And you live in like an apartment?
I was supervised. Yeah. I mean, like if I couldn't get any other way, I guess I'd take
You live in like a back house?
Sounds pretty cool. It's like a pretty cool way to bond with your son.
At your rich friend's compound in Calistoga. Nice. In Northern California, just being like, yeah, I own all these buildings and restaurants, and you could sleep in that like shed out back.
Honestly, that my situation would not be as good as that if everything shakes out. But but that sounds nice. Still, yeah, live on a compound in a back
in the
house.
Shed.
Yeah, I would just be in the shed on my wife's compound.
What's storage rental locker?
Oh yeah.
That's cool.
Illegally living in it.
A lot of fans in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm just hanging out with my kid, being like, "So what do you want to do?"
One of those lantern lights, like construction lights, with like the grid, like the protective grid, like metal grid.
Yeah, you can still stick your finger through it and like get a 3rd-degree burn immediately. That's what we end up doing as an activity. There's not much else in the storage unit.
So like if you think about my dad's situation in the divorce,
mm-hmm.
He's on the losing end. So the movies, that's all he's got.
Oh, so you were watching movies, you're saying, with your dad in his back house?
Well, like as we were getting there.
Gotcha.
But like he used to have a house. He used to have multiple houses. He was like doing really well.
Right.
And then it like
the divorce.
He lost his job. He just started doing too many drugs. But like he'd just be like, "Yeah, watch TV. I got a lot of shit that's going on."
But come on, don't you want to like blame your mom and stuff? Be like, Dad's life was bad because of you.
She would be like, "You can't watch that."
Be like, Dad lets me do it. Dad loves me more.
Yeah, and they'd be pissed.
Yeah. Dude, I'm so sorry about you had your mom. That sucks. I wish she wasn't in the way of you and your dad's happiness.
You know, I watched a lot of good movies though. I was just like, "Hey, parents, calm down, be quiet. I'm just watching TV, okay?"
Yeah, totally.
Because either way, I would be watching a lot of movies. No matter what. But it was like my favorite thing as a kid.
Yeah, but you would be watching like Uncle Buck and
I saw that in the movie
Beethoven
theater.
Second. Like you'd watch like Beethoven Second like 20 times Beethoven. If you were like a regular kid. No, one of the video ones. Just be like constantly watching that movie and just like, this is great.
I'd be watching Ernest Goes to Camp.
Yeah.
Which
I did a lot of Ernest. I did a lot of Pee-wee's Big Adventure, of course. Then we'd tape shows too sometimes. You know. Great times.
What about Slumber Party Massacre 2?
Yeah, totally.
The other thing is when I would go to my friend's house, I would watch cable there also. And like we had one friend, we watched Hard Ticket to Hawaii when we were like in 2nd grade. It just was mind blowing.
That sounds awesome, actually. That sounds like a lot of fun to be with your 2nd grade friends. Like, check this out.
Like, whoa. Like the Frisbee with the bomb on it. Like we couldn't believe it.
It's a good sleepover movie, honestly.
It was, a lot of people were like this. A lot of people watched Hamburger, the motion picture, Police Academy, Revenge of the Nerds. This is the 80s. I grew up, I was born in 83, so 88, 89.
Revenge of the Nerds, for sure.
There wasn't a lot of kids' content, and this, all that crapola, all those stupid comedies, stupid horror movies, Troll.
A lot of shit.
All that shit, Motorama. They could just, every mom and pop video store would buy them because the studios were slow to release anything.
Mm-hmm.
Disney tapes were expensive.
And kids have like less of a lower standards for what they like. They can go watch a complete shit, like piece of shit and be like, this is amazing.
That's how everything I watched was. Everything was just so awesome.
Yeah.
And I would watch anything and I had I couldn't tell the difference between quality on anything until I was maybe in 7th grade.
That sounds like a dream, honestly. Don't you wish you could go back to that? Thinking everything you saw was awesome, like a little kid does, but then also watching awesome adult movies.
Everything basically worked as long as it was presented in a coherent fashion.
When did you see this movie for the first time?
I would have been in 5th grade.
Wow.
10.
You went over
so
to
I was basically his
house.
age. I was his.
He was hey, put on these jeans and let's watch this movie.
Come to my shed.
Yeah, come to my theme park, and it's just a shed.
That'd be your Neverland is the shed.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson basically just had a big shed. That was the theme park
that he took a kid to, Melissa. Good stuff. Good times.
There you go. Every bachelor has his cool house, his cool stuff,
Mm-hmm.
You got to show off.
I was thinking, you don't want to start him too late, too early or whatever with showing him crazy shit. But like, it also, as you were talking, I was like, man, you kind of shouldn't wait too long though to show him something that
You got to shock
could
them.
fuck them up. You have to like take a chance and maybe fuck up your kid at a certain age with a movie that's deranged or twisted or whatever.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre, great movie for a child.
Yeah. Just
Silence
like when they
of the
graduate
Lambs.
elementary school, throw that on. Be like, you're a man now.
The other thing is like a movie like Silence of the Lambs. In second grade, I saw that. I could barely follow it. It was so complicated and smart and like sophisticated and like complex.
But you remember the face eating and shit, right?
Yeah. But like the cum on the face, I didn't understand what cum was.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing that when I was a kid too and being like, what'd he throw? What is that? Yeah.
And so very simple, direct horror movies were the best. Things like a guy chasing someone, action movies, Schwarzenegger movies. That's why I say Big Trouble in Little China was, even though I saw the thing, I rewatched Big Trouble in Little China more. Like the big, dumb, loud movies were what I really liked.
Yeah, it's visceral and visual.
Street trash to a 5-year-old in that state of where everything's amazing is just a perfect movie. It's so funny. It's so broad.
It's like you're like laughing, cracking
it's
up.
It's so
like,
slapsticky.
All the stupid shit.
Commando. Loved Commando.
Yeah, Commando's so good. Damn, yeah. So what other pedophile movies do you think? What's like in the third of the series? What do you think it would be? Peanut
Butter Solution's an amazing one.
Was pedophile-y, maybe? You think?
Well, it's just anything you consider pedophile-y is just a dark children's movie. But
no, you're glossing over a lot of stuff about this movie.
I don't think this movie. I don't think Dial Code. I don't think this movie is for pedophiles at all. I don't think. I totally disagree with that.
A mainstream movie that can appeal to, like, Girls Trip.
I'm sorry. What about Girls Trip?
This is a movie like Girls Trip, where it's like a movie that's like all black cast or whatever. It's made, it's kind of like a representation thing. Like they got mainstream comedy that's like all black and stuff like that, but it crosses over and it's for like a general. It's not for that target niche audience only.
Like, I don't understand the connection between those two movies.
And then this movie is like a movie that's like for pedophiles and stuff, but it has a mainstream crossover appeal, which is what you want. That's how you got a hit.
I mean, do you read, Adam?
Of course.
Because like, do you have any novels or about children having a rite of passage, like Catcher in the Rye?
I haven't read them.
So like, this is just this seems, you're saying this is so unusual, but this is a very common.
I'm not talking
literary
about
device.
The kid being an adult. I'm talking about kid having a big butt and tight jeans and the camera creeping in on him while he's peeing.
I never felt this watching.
The lipstick shit, like sweaty, shirtless kid.
Those are the things in the lipstick scene, I felt bad.
Up when I see a sweaty, shirtless kid or like a kid wearing tight ass pants and stuff. I'm kind of like, what? No, not like that.
Okay, interesting. Look, that
makes me be like, oh,
attracted to the child.
No,
you are trying to justify. You're like a guy who's like, you're like a person in the closet who is, overcompensating by being judgmental and
about when I see like Brokeback Mountain or something,
like those Christian pastors who then turn out to be gay.
No, this is just the final trap in the pedophile's mind puzzle that I know you're trying to put me through right now. I mean,
this is an incoherent, schizophrenic.
You're trapping me into this
ravings of a madman
maze where I'm becoming confused and forgetting what I find attractive conventionally,
which is
adult women.
You can't trick me.
It.
You can't trick me about my sexuality, Adam.
No,
because I don't believe sexuality is something that can be. The only thing that you can be tricked out of is a lie.
Mm.
You can be caught in a lie. You can't be caught and change your nature.
What are you saying right now?
I'm saying you're in the closet. You're living a life. You're living a lie about your true feelings, which are fine. I mean,
gay closet?
You don't
I'm in the gay closet?
No, the pedophile closet.
Oh, right.
You're a pedophile. You view this movie as a workout of a pedophile because you are attracted to the boy in the movie physically.
So if somebody shows up another person in a movie and they're like, hey man, this is a fucking weird movie, it kind of feels like it's a pedophile movie, then that person is like a pedophile. The person who, not the guy who's showing them the movie.
I'm just saying, I don't
and has
see
a thin
it.
mustache.
It doesn't see. No one else says that.
If you just made it this far in the like nobody's listening at this point, but please feel free to chime in about whether or not you think this is a pedophile movie. A movie by or for.
Let's get a poll going.
Both.
Let's
Boo-boo.
respond to the episode tweet.
Yeah.
Let's get
some audience engagement finally.
Let's hear some opinions.
Yeah. Who's a pedophile, me or William? Only one of us is, but one of us definitely is.
Do you want to listen to the guy who understands the movie, or do you want to listen to the guy who's
distracted by all the pedophilic images,
projecting his own shameful?
No.
His own shame.
I'm not
insecure with himself. He's
because I'm not a pedophile.
He's Chris Cooper from American Beauty. Let's be honest, but he's a pedophile.
Oh, like a pedophile version of that guy.
Later tonight, Adam will rewatch this movie, and he'll then kiss the TV after pausing the screen.
Promise you, I will not be kissing the TV.
And then be caught and be like, "What? This movie's weird, right, guys?"
William did this to me.
Like a Tim Robinson character. Like, what? Guys, come on! This movie is for pedophile. Like, how could you not want? How could you not see it?
What do you guys put this on?
This is crazy. I guess I'll watch it.
Yeah.
Oh God. Oh my God. Look at his butt and the jeans. And that he's peeing. Oh man. If I was a pedophile, I'd be pretty hard right now.
I gotta pause it. I'm too upset.
I'm gonna rewind
it's still on that
I'm
shot
so upset. I'm rewinding it and playing that scene over because I hate it. It disgusts me.
Yes.
Your wife just has her hands in her head. She's crying, just weeping, openly weeping.
Does your girl, speaking of which, does your girlfriend know that you watched this movie? And has she seen this movie?
She won't watch movies with me anymore.
Oh, really?
Apparently, I lost that recommendation.
What movie did it?
All of them.
Oh, okay. This is just a build-up. Because last time or whatever, a couple weeks ago, you were like, had a fun little thing about pedophile jokes about at the end of the episode, and then I guess she was like, why do you make so many jokes about that?
And I say the same thing every time. I'm like, Adam will not shut up. He is obsessed, and it's like, it drives me crazy. I hate it. The episode is ruined.
You can only
you can't talk about the movie. It becomes like this bizarre fixation he has.
Yeah.
So
like sweatily fixated on it.
Well, I guess we should wrap this up.
Yeah, man. This was so great. I'm so glad I watched your pedophile movie. Thanks, man.
It's not my movie. I didn't make this
it's just a movie you cherished and having your personal.
I think this is a cool movie about a cool kid. And as a kid, I liked how dark it was.
Yeah.
And I thought this was a cool, weird movie. And as an adult, I watch it. I'm kind of like, man, this drags in parts. This kid is kind of lame. But as a kid, I related to him because he was a kid. So it was like, whoa, like this is a roller coaster. I can't believe, oh my God, he lost an eye. Imagine if I lost an eye, or like,
dude, honestly, you know who would have been perfect?
I got tattooed.
And yeah, is Little Pete from Pete and Pete. He would have been like incredible in this movie.
Absolutely.
But you know, who knows? Pedophiles have like a
Problem
weird
child. You need a redhead.
Yeah.
You need a gross redhead
bastard. You know.
The problem child kid has like a weird Southern accent. It's like, yeah. Oh geez, Dad. Oh, come on.
It's awesome. That's kind of see.
That's the one that holds up the best from the era. Obviously, Prom Child is like the coolest one, the funniest one. I remember
seeing liking that movie so much. I saw the second one in the theater and like,
incredible, just murdered. The second one was so funny in the movie theater.
Yeah, Gilbert
unbelievably
Gottfried.
Funny. The pizza restaurant, the fat guy barfing. I mean, it just was. And then you like as an adult, you have John Ritter.
Yeah, it's got stuff to appeal to parents too.
His cool grandpa. I love the grandpa when he's like, he has a sports store.
Yeah. Who's that guy again?
Jack Walsh. That's the dad from Dirty Work.
Another Jack.
Dirty Work.
Yes,
right?
Of course.
Used cars. He's amazing at used cars.
I haven't seen it. Is that movie for pedophiles too?
No, that movie's awesome. That's like one of Robert Zemeckis' best movies. It's about a crazy used car salesman and lots of hijinks. And it's kind of like Animal House humor. It's like very like horny. It's raunchy.
Oh yeah. Movies aren't horny anymore.
They aren't raunchy. Now you have to make a movie about like, it's like Miss Marvel or She-Hulk or like
those are TV
Sandman.
Shows. That's another series, I think. But
it's just like there's nothing's cool anymore. Nothing's just like, hey, these guys are horny.
Let pedophiles make movies again.
Why aren't there horny superheroes that are just horny but no violence? Just like, I got to get laid this summer.
Yeah.
It's like the X-Men go on spring break.
Yeah, why can't Cyclops shoot lasers out of his dick hole instead of his eyes?
And then they have to save the day at the end.
Yeah, give me a fucking break.
There's like there's like an evil alien conspiracy at the spring break party city, and then them and their honeys, they like kick ass.
Yeah,
and save the day with their laser powers and their like karate kicks.
Mm-hmm.
But before that, they're like, there's like montages of them like playing volleyball and like pulling like bikinis off girls and like spying on them and like
rubbing
the locker room, using their
Yeah.
laser vision to see through the wall,
Just fun hijinks, horny hijinks.
freezing someone and just walking in the room, undressing her.
Yeah.
And it's like playing like Rick Springfield over it. Kind of like Last
That'd be
American
cool.
Virgin or like Fast Times at Ridgemont High. It's like, yeah, we're just coming of age. We're having a great time.
Mhm.
And then like the pizza shop owner or the evil businessman turns out to be an alien. And then they're like, they use their superpowers to like, they just like look at him naked and humiliate him. They steal his underwear and like put poison on it, like Revenge of the Nerds. They burn his dick. They put like hot sauce on his underwear.
Oh, they did that in Revenge of the Nerds? That's assault, actually.
They also rape the bad guy's girlfriend in Revenge of the Nerds.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they
With
just
the
go on a
mask.
fucking
Yeah, they changed the
multiple
identity.
felony crime spree. Like
They
violent
changed their-
criminal shit.
He wears the other guy's costume
They're getting their revenge, I guess.
and she can't tell the difference.
Yes, of course.
A man's entire body,
A
the
physically
paleness of the skin, the
immaculate,
color.
like athletic, strong
Head-
guy. And
Yeah. Blonde, tanned, California beach guy versus a nerd body. Just can't tell because of a mask.
I remember, and then like she's like, whoa. Oh no, she finds out and then she's like cool with it, right? Because he fucked her too so good.
Yeah, he like went down on her.
Oh, that's it. He just went down on her.
Yeah, because the guy, like the jock, doesn't do that.
Oh, nice.
And then well, that like Revenge of the Nerds with X-Men would be a cool movie.
Yeah, that would.
But the Disney Plus will never make it.
Bastards.
They make it like Riverdale.
Yeah, for kids that are fucking losers. That's like the demographic for
What's
shows like
the
that.
darkest kids movie right now?
What kids movie? Well, everything's a cartoon, I guess, right?
Lemony Snicket.
Yeah.
The Munsters by Rob Zombie. Kids, everything kids. It's just completely. The Nickelodeon, Disney have a lock on it.
There's not going to be. We're going to be like very short of bullies in the coming generations if we don't do something about this.
You know what it is? It's just social media. A kid can get locked into a bad YouTube channel, like a gamer, like a bad gaming stream, or
yes, of course.
PewDiePie might be too much for like a little kid. They might be watching just like some horrible racist rant.
Yeah, just go on YouTube. That's where you can find
So like we say like, oh, this is gone. You can't find this, but actually a kid today could find more horrible shit on YouTube.
True.
Like
true.
If like the modern me, it's just a kid on a laptop or just given an iPad
or in like a game lounge or whatever.
And like I used to watch TV when I was like 4 years old, and the TV would just turn off at midnight. Disney Channel would just stop broadcasting. But like today, if I had an iPad, I could just be constantly watching.
Oh yeah,
YouTube.
You just get like really socialize yourself, like get yourself really good social skills. Spend years doing that. You'll be a normal guy, normal cool guy like William.
So yeah, I don't know. There's no consensus on the matter.
Yeah.
The scientists don't know. So if you have a kid, just let them do whatever they want, because who else knows more than the child?
Wise words from the guy who picked the pedophile movie. Again, he did it.
I just picked a movie. You are the one who has.
No, I'm saying like
a creepy obsession with a subject matter that most people.
That's a good deflection for pedophiles, is to be worst. Like, man, you're being creepy. Like, I'm just trying to hang out. Like, I just enjoy the kid's company. Why are you making it like all creepy and sexual? This is what a pedophile would say to.
Well, a pedophile would never allow anyone to even get a hint of his activity.
That's the obvious thing. That's the obvious thing, but real pedophiles.
Would a sociopath gloat in public? You would have to be a fool to do that.
Yeah, but if it's presented being like, hey man, this feels a little funny.
Would a sociopath,
the guy would be like, oh, of course, nothing, sir.
Adam, would a sociopath take delight in duping those around him? And begging to be caught in a self-destructive way? Of course not. No sociopath would do that. They're very careful.
Yes.
Their compulsive behavior that they can't control keeps them in check.
Yeah, it's the one thing that centers them, actually.
They really don't want to get caught. They hate taking risks.
Everybody needs an anchor. For sociopaths, it's risking, fucking alienating people or whatever. For pedophiles, it's hanging out with kids all the time. If you hang out with a bunch of kids and you're only molesting like one or two, then chances are pretty good. You have like a pretty good like way to be like, hey, I like it. I'm hanging out with these guys, right? And then you ask the other like 98, and they're like, yeah. I've never been molested.
Where is this coming from? What is this about?
I'm just saying, don't try to.
That was very revealing.
Don't try to spin things around as I'm talking about that. I'm like mentally getting like confused now. No, I am confused. Oh, I've been tangled up in a knot once again.
Because you're trying to keep a lie in check.
No, that's not true.
And you're taking massive delight.
I thought we were doing bits. I
gloating.
I just thought we were doing a funny show of bits where we just said stuff that was obviously not true. And I've been getting like slowly, you've been like running around a rope around me for an hour and a half. I'm like, hey, this is fun. Like, what are you doing? And you're going up and down. And
the only thing that is funny is the truth.
Truth and comedy.
Making anything up for comedy is one of the worst things you can do. To be creative.
Well, I guess I'm not really bad then, because I was making up everything I was saying.
To be clever is awful. The most important thing in comedy is to have judgment. And I judge thee, Adam. I judge you.
No, you're the person who picked the movie out. I'm just the person who brought up the fact that it has this tone.
The tone is like Twin Peaks. The tone is of surrealism. The tone is like a French film. It's like
it's a touch.
It's like Erie, Indiana. It's, no one would ever go as far as to accuse anyone in this movie of crimes like that. So I think
I thought you were going to say no one would go so far as to prove French people as being pedophiles.
So if it's a bit, it's boring. If it's real, then
it's not real.
It's stupid.
It's a boring bit. It's a bit.
It's just a bad
boring.
bit.
Yeah.
All right, good.
Let's end this episode.